Hello and welcome to Ethan's Garage. Today I'm visiting Florence, Italy, a beautiful, super historic city. But I decided to bring you guys along to do some car spotting while I'm here, because since it's just like any other cool European city, there's plenty of wild, interesting cars here. So I'm going to show you guys that and show you guys a few of the sights and sounds of the city. So thank you guys for joining, and let's dive right in. Well, I think I found our first spot. These are so weird. Renault Twizzys are just quintessential strange cars. This here is a beautiful old Volkswagen van. I don't know if I've actually seen one in this color before, but great look. Alright, and not a first today, but I am finding a car I've never seen before. Pasquale? I think it's electric. That is wild. It kind of looks like a Corbin Sparrow, if you know what those are. It's got some damage too. Pretty old, I think. That is wild. When I drove into Florence today, I was actually a bit surprised by how relatively car-friendly it is here. Streets are pretty navigable, just some slightly crazy drivers. These Fiat Pandas are just absolutely badass. The wheel and tire setup on these things is so little, but these things are basically just covered ATVs. This one's actually kind of weird. I knew about this thing existing, but this is the new Lexus LBX. I think it's based on the Corolla Cross or the Igo X or the Corolla, one of the small Toyota SUVs. I think this is a Europe only thing. So this isn't a car, but I thought I'd include this. There's actually a building off Rodeo Drive, actually technically on Rodeo Drive in the residential part, that has sort of a similar vibe to this. This here's another Euro-only model that I wish was in the US, the Audi A1. I've always liked the Fiat 500 Abarth, but in Europe they have the 595 and the 695 and a bunch of better, faster, better looking, and higher performance versions. We've got a partially two-tone smart car. This definitely is a beautiful city. And here is the Basilica. It's got a Yaris hybrid, local police, and this cool Italian military vehicle. Alright, now back to car spotting. I didn't film for a little bit because it was insanely packed and there was lots of people being quite sketchy with, you know, trying to force you to buy things and all sorts of scammy crap. And also just no space to even breathe. So now that I'm back to space where I can spread out, let's keep looking at cars. Interesting dumpster system here where you tap to pay to open it and then just drop your trash in. Right here, Alfa Romeo police car. I've noticed these Alfa Romeo Tonales have sold really well over here. I've seen them all over the place, and the police use them, as I just showed you. This is one of the plug-in hybrid ones too. I like this thing, the Hyundai i20N. The Igo X is an amazing car. I rented one of these last year. No complaints except the fact that there's no spare and I get a flat and then was stranded. Also, look at this. Very fitting. Cinquecento 500L. Of course, with the fabric roof, only for metal and weight savings. Looks like we're starting to lose the light. It's getting about like 4 or 5 p.m., something like that. But hey, I like the Christmas decorations. That's looking good. This here is actually one of my favorite Italian cars, the Lancia Y. They're everywhere. This is one of the older ones from like the 90s. And I actually low-key kind of want to import one of these. They're old enough to be imported and they look wild, and yeah, they're weird. And this thing, I forgot the name of it, but this is one of the substantially smaller than a Golf Volkswagens. And the all-aluminum Audi A2, another incredibly weird car. It's kind of interesting to me actually how extensive the bike lanes are here. I've been to plenty of Italian cities, but never any that have had such good bike lanes. My next task is going to be figuring out how to cross this whole huge road intersection. But first, another amazing old Fiat. I am just such a big fan of the look of these things. This one even has the cloth roof for full enjoyment of the Mediterranean weather. And it's honestly hilarious how popular the Fiat Panda is. I know I just pointed out this classic one, but let's just look at how many there are in just this one parking lot. There's a Fiat Panda, there's a Fiat Panda, there's a Fiat Panda, and another Panda, and another Panda. See, it sounds like I'm at some like zoo or something. And then right over here we got 2 more Pandas, and another Panda, and another Panda, and another Panda down there. And I'm probably even missing one. And there's another one of those LBX Lexuses, except that one has, can't see it too well, Monaco plates. Something that definitely does differentiate US cities and European cities for cars is in the US, if you live in a compact city, you probably still own like a Chevy Suburban. Like if you go to Manhattan, all the cars are big. Like the compact car there is a Macan or a G-Wagon. But over in Europe, people actually get city cars. Like that's the thing in the US, I think the city car terminology, I know where it comes from and it obviously makes sense, but honestly just doesn't really apply. It's like there's no correlation in the US when it comes to city cars. We look here and it's like, what would be a Nissan Rogue in the US, different name here. That's a big car. Even the Focus is actually a pretty big car. Most of these are very compact crossovers that are basically just glorified hatchbacks, or they're super tiny hatchbacks. You know, Fiat 500, another Panda, the A-Class, or even over there, the Citroen Ami. So I'll go take a look at that. There's a Citroen Ami right there. I haven't even gotten to the one I was going to look at yet. And here's actually what I was going to look at. This MG3 hybrid. If you're an American, you probably think of MG as the, you know, small, fun, kind of Miata-esque sports cars from the 60s and all that, but unfortunately they've been bought out by the Chinese and are selling these garbage cars all over Europe. An unfortunate fate for such a renowned brand. These are also popular in Europe, the T-Cross. I think it's basically just a crossover version of the Volkswagen Polo, which is the littler, slightly different dimension Golf, although it's almost exactly the same size, which is kind of funny. And here you go with the Citroen Ami. So technically this one isn't actually a Citroen Ami. Fiat recently started licensing these, which I think was a brilliant move from them, because it's a really fun car, and I actually think the Fiat version looks maybe a little bit better. But these are just a great design. Yeah, Topolini for Fiat, and different taillights. So the Citroen Ami is a little bit different in that all the panels are reversible. So one door hinges one way, one does the other one, because it's the same door, just on a different side. And on the Citroen, the front and back are the same, which is not quite that way on this, since that's a slightly different piece, front to back. I'm assuming these probably cost just a little bit more. But they're all electric, which I think is a great use of electrification. And they're limited basically to just cities and slow speed stuff, which honestly works great here. You can even see the seating position is so they're slightly offset, so you can make it narrower, a little wider inside. And they fold up windows too. I would love to import one of these to the US. And here's another incredibly bizarre looking Citroen. I think this might be the one that is technically convertible. We have to remove the entire back roof rails. Alright, I found a good one. A 2 Chevaux Citroen. So I see a car that is pretty out of place here. Wouldn't even be noticeable at all in the US. And that is a Bronco. Thing looks absolutely enormous here. It's not even that big of a vehicle, at least by our huge American standards. So if you guys like this kind of video and have any recommendations where you want me to go see next and go do some car spotting, make sure to comment that down below. I'm always traveling, so I'm all ears. And also, since I pointed out the Citroen Ami, might as well actually show you a Citroen Ami. You can see there the front, or that's the back, see? 40 slip, same as the front. Here's another microcar I have not seen before. It's Casalino, although honestly it looks exactly like an Axiom, which is what most of them are, and I kind of wonder if it's just a rebadged one. Man, this Civic is clean. One last American car here, Plymouth Voyager. Let's finish off with this really epic design of a parking garage. What a nice piece of architecture. Okay, that is epic. Look at that. Isuzu, I forget the name of this exact model, but it's a shortened length tow truck. I need one. We also got the old Beetle and the Citroen Saxo, I think it is. Alright, I think I walked right by this one, but this is one of the coolest, weird, small trucks I've ever seen in my life. It's a trike. I don't know what brand that is, honestly. The 3 circles. Whoa. Alright, so if you know what brand that is, please let me know, because I want to know more about it. Also, this Cinquecento is in perfect shape. Blue over tan. This thing deserves to be in like Monaco or something. Also, I love how weird it is that this parking garage essentially has a moat for some reason. Not sure whose idea that was. And a nice, beautiful, probably like 80s, roughly, G-Wagon. 230 GE. I think that might be one of the 4-cylinder ones. This is a super clean Abarth. One of the 595 ones. Though it's auto. What the hell's the point of that? Come on. And I think this will be the last spot for the night, but this is a good way to end it. We've got a nice Maserati Levante in a nice blue, and another weird microcar thing. This one's a Mitsubishi, although I once again wonder if it's just a rebadged some other thing. Japan Automobile Federation.